Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Valaery Rose Show. I'm your host, Valaery Rose, and in today's episode, I'm going to be following up with you with a little bit of information from episode 1. And there I shared with you the foundation of this podcast, what it's going to be about, and talking about the 3 pillars of personal power, which are transform, elevate, and thrive. And that is my coaching approach that I do with my clients when I'm speaking on stages. That is the approach that's in my mind and even applying it into my own life. And that's what worked for me when I went through my transformation journey, being at rock bottom and needing to transform, elevate, and thrive and overall grow. So, I want to share with you the why behind the work that I do. So, a little bit about my personal story. I understand the challenges of life, which we all experience. And I want to share with you some of the challenges that I've experienced. I had a rough childhood, didn't come from the best home. I was in the foster care system, became a teen mother, and also was a little bit troubled in my young adulthood. And because of all of that, I ended up getting myself into a toxic relationship. And that's where I want to share with you my transformational point. Through all of these stages in my life, I've overcome these challenges and did the best that I could with every single situation. But I learned something from every one of those points in my life. But it wasn't until I was in that toxic relationship that I realized, what in the world am I doing? I'm feeling unhappy. I am not my authentic self. And I'm truly letting myself down because of lack of self respect, not feeling my best self, and eventually hitting that point of rock bottom, meaning I wasn't in the best place financially, mentally, let alone physically, emotionally, relationally with the people that I was around, choice of friends, that partner itself, even professionally. I started to lack performance and I started to feel dull, not my normal, cheery, positive self. So I knew something was up, something wasn't right. And I couldn't blame anyone but myself because ultimately, when we are getting involved with things in life, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, we are making the choice to be there. We are making the choice to do that. We are making the choice to feel that. And I remember that day, that transformational point for me. I was going to work thinking, damn, I am so unhappy with my life. I know that there's more to life, but what do I need to do? Where do I start? And at that time, I wasn't big into personal development. The only thing I really focused on that was considered or that is considered personal development is fitness. So I got my body moving. I barely started getting introduced to the gym at that time. And this was in my early 20s, talking about that pivotal transformational point. Going to the gym, I started hiking with my best friend Kendra. And those were the things that started to fuel me and make me think and realize, what are you doing with your life, girl? You've got to do better. And even applying this new habit of hiking with my best friend. And that was like a therapeutical moment because we'd get together and we'd share our feelings, what we're experiencing in life. And that's when I started having a lot of aha moments. And going to work that day, I realized all of these things that I wasn't feeling good about. So I told myself, when I get home tonight, I'm going to take some sort of action. I don't know what, but I am. So I get home, and the first thing that came to my mind was the library. So I told myself, I set that goal of, I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to go check out some free books because at the time I wasn't in a financially good place to be going to buy a $20, $30 personal development book, even though I really wanted to. But I started to use my resources around me. And I love reading books. I've always had that passion of reading. And it started in the 3rd grade when my teacher saw that I was one of the less fortunate students and gave me a Harry Potter collections of books. So that was really, really cool. And that's where the reading started. And going back to the library, I went to the library about 2 days after that pivotal moment. And I started getting all these different personal development books like mindset, emotional well being, like even learning more about fitness. And that's where I started to consistently apply personal development into my life. And I remember one of the activities in this book, I forgot the book, but it did say write a list of all the things that you are happy about in your life, and then make a list of all the things you are unhappy about. So I did that. And it was very sad to see that my happy list was like this small. And my unhappy list was like, bam. It was like, it went, I think I filled up that whole line piece of paper because that's what I ended up using. And then to keep track of those things, it encouraged me to then take the next step in my personal development, getting a planner to keep my life organized, getting a journal to really start like writing my feels and whatnot. And once I saw what I was happy about, what I was unhappy about, I told myself something's got to change and no one's coming to save me. I got to save myself. I got to build that life that I truly want because no one's going to give it to me. And it's going to come from changing my mindset, loving myself more, being disciplined and consistent, and taking that daily aligned action. And that's exactly what I did. Once I saw the list, I decided to see what I could control in that moment, what I couldn't control at all. And I wrote down actionable tips, things that I had to do, like tasks. Okay, you need to leave this relationship. How are you going to do it? You're going to cry a little bit. You're going to be honest with yourself. And when he tries to get back with you, you are not going to go back. And you're going to make a list of all the bad things in this relationship, which outweighed the good. And it involved a lot of toxicity, me becoming a toxic person myself because of that reciprocation of getting that toxic love and vibe so much. And I'm like, this is not me. This is not who I want to be. Getting involved in unhealthy habits and just realizing like, I don't want to do this anymore. And being with a person that would just constantly tear me down. And that leads me to when you're around people that are tearing you down, it makes it so much harder to grow because you start believing the lies and the words that they're telling you because of how powerful it sounds. They might make you feel dumb. They might make you feel ugly. They might make you feel like you're not worth it. But that doesn't mean that it's true, even though you feel like it is because it's hurting you and it's coming from someone that you think loves you. They don't love you if they're treating you like that. Let me tell you, because when I love people, I'm not going to want to treat them like that and make them feel like crap. So ultimately, if someone is treating you in a way where they're disrespecting you, they're cheating on you, they're just doing all these crazy things, you ask yourself, like, do they really love me? And you have the answer there. Their actions are speaking way louder than their words. Even though they come back and be like, oh, I'm going to change this and that, when it keeps happening and they're not following through, you're only lying to yourself and you're hurting yourself. And I think a lot of it stems from us being scared of being alone or stepping into the unknown and being comfortable with where we're at because we know what's going to go down. We know we're going to get cheated on. We know that they're going to be out late night or they're going to be rude or whatever. But when you step out of that, it's a little scary. And I totally understand that. And that was my pivotal transformation moment for me. So as I was transforming, it was shedding those old patterns, right? Leaving that environment, leaving that relationship, stop procrastinating, put your health, top tier, focus on self-love, finding out what is self-love, what is personal development. And I've always had that spark of positivity, like them little unicorn vibes, but I didn't always know how to build upon myself because growing up, it wasn't something that I was taught, like, oh, focus on your mindset, communicate more, talk about your feelings. And I think it could be like that in a lot of environments, especially in the Latino community. It's more like, oh, you'll be fine. Like, don't be crying. You shouldn't be crying and things like that and communicating stuff. And I think sometimes it's just because our parents or the people that raise us, they don't even know how to help themselves, let alone really help us navigate certain things. So you can't stay a victim and you got to make the changes yourself. Like now, as we're adults, we got to take the action and become better versions of ourselves. And if you don't know how to go about it, start reading a book about personal development. You don't like books? Go on YouTube. There's a bunch of how to do this, right? How to clean a vacuum. There's just so many things to do. How do I focus on my self-love? How do I start a podcast? Come to the podcast place. See, there's so many ways that you can educate yourself with the comfort of your laptop or your phone, and even tapping into this podcast show right here with me and following people on social media that are going to make you feel good, motivated, and inspired. Then I started hitting this point of elevation where I was shedding all the bad habits. I started getting more movement in my body. I had to cut out a lot of people, meaning that relationship, friends, and I started to develop new habits, which was prioritizing personal development every day, going to the gym at least 3 to 5 times a week, stepping out of my comfort zone and going to events that talked about entrepreneurial things because that's what I really wanted to do is be this entrepreneur that helped people. And I've always had a passion for helping people. And it started when I was a preschool teacher. I did preschool teaching for 7 years, and I absolutely love shaping the mind of little children and would also help the parents along the way. And after that, I realized, you know what, there's something else that I want to do. So I even went on Google myself and said, what are different careers that help people? So a bunch of stuff popped up: life coaching, counselor, therapist, and life coach just immediately stood out to me. Why? Because of my own personal experience. So I was like, shoot, I went through all these things in life. I've overcome them. We all go through challenges. But if people see that I did it, they'll have that belief that they can do it too, no matter what your age is, no matter your background, no matter where you come from, or even where you are at in life. You always have the power to change. It's just a matter if you really want to do it and overcoming the obstacles or the things that you feel like are going against you and just doing it. Just literally doing the damn thing and stepping out and taking care of yourself first. Because that's what we're here on this earth for, to live a life, right? So why not live a life and build a life that you absolutely love? You know, being in better environments, being with good people, having an amazing partner, having the money that you want. And as I always say, success is no one right way. It's whatever you define it as. If you want to be financially successful, there's people that they just want to be comfortable to take out their family member, to take care of someone and help them out a little bit, to give back to people in need. And then there's those who want to be like really rich and stuff and have all these cars and houses and the material things. But let me remind you that money doesn't bring happiness. Material things don't bring happiness, that your happiness always comes from within. And going back to my elevation process as I'm transforming, I started to really feel much peace in my life, more joy, and I started to thrive. And the thriving came along where I started a few businesses. Some of them failed, but that's a part of the learning process, right? I've done 4 podcast shows. Solomon knows this is the 4th one, and I'm sticking to it, y'all. So they were all moments in my life where I learned something new. And the point that I say all of this is everything you go through, your past doesn't define you, but it shapes you. It shapes you into the person that you are now. But even then, you can reinvent yourself to be whoever it is that you want to be. And that's what that transformational point happened in my life, led to the elevation. And I really started building myself into the person I wanted to become by starting that young entrepreneurial journey, losing weight and focusing on my fitness, focusing on my mindset, and finding ways that I wanted to really build the life that I want to have. And I really feel that I have that now. And I have a lot more growing to do, and don't we all? But I'm now at that place where I really feel like I'm thriving. I'm in my natural element helping people. I'm growing in my business with life coaching and starting to achieve a dream where I've always wanted to be a speaker. I just have like this natural communication skill, and I could easily talk with anyone and everyone from like all backgrounds, ages. I'm very open minded, and it's also taught me to become a better listener. And now I'm at that point where I'm financially stable, I'm mentally and emotionally stronger, I'm getting better with my physical and commitment to the gym and just focusing on not only the aesthetics of it, but how going to the gym also helps you have that mental clarity. It helps you get stronger emotionally because you feel so good when you're lifting weights, and it makes you feel stronger. No matter at what point you go to the gym during the day, you just feel like you can conquer it all. And then having all these recovery amenities like the sauna, the massage chair, it just all makes you feel good, and it adds value to your life in a healthy manner, to your mindset, emotional well being, and physical well being. And I'm super happy to say that I'm now in a happy and healthy relationship with my partner, Joe. and it's out there for everyone. I When I left that toxic relationship, it was about 9 years, and it was on and off. I thought it was the end of the world. I wasn't going to be able to find anyone, but I stopped trying to chase and find someone, and instead I found myself, and I just started building myself into this high value woman because I wasn't that when I was in that toxic relationship. And what I mean by that is just respecting yourself, loving yourself, building on your skills and your knowledge, and tapping into like your divine feminine, where when you meet that person that is also high value and they're willing to invest in you mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, you're both going to be at a level where you meet each other peacefully and you're happy and you have an open mind. So, absolutely, I'm very at a point in my life where I'm feeling very blessed, and it's like in my thriving area and I'm in my thriving era, and I'm only going to continue to get better because of the choices that I'm making, the environments that I'm putting myself in, the people that I'm serving, and who I choose to have around me, but mainly the mindset that I have, the emotional strength, and the choices that I'm making. So once I realized that I was able to transform my life, become this coach, I'm like, now I know I could really help other people. And I have this natural gravitation where people just feel safe and comfortable with me to just share stuff. And I'm like, yes, let me give you some advice, or let me just hear you out and give my 2 cents to help guide you in a better direction, to help you take those actionable steps that are going to put you in a much better place. And that's why I became a life coach after being through a lot of things. A lot of things, I just highlight the main things so you understand that if you ever share something with me or you feel like you're alone, you're not the only one. And we're all going through our own battles in different ways. There's so many life challenges, ugly emotions. But if I could come out and be this positive unicorn, and people think a lot of the time, oh, you're always so happy. How do you do it? It's just a natural feeling that we get to choose to be happy. Because if I walk around mad all day, you're going to see it, and it's not going to serve anybody, not myself, not my clients, not my family, my loved ones, anyone that I'm around. So remember that happiness and the way you show up is a choice that you get to make. Now, with my life coaching, not only is it experience, it's also education. So learning about like teaching children was a very pivotal process with understanding child development and just the mindset, educating myself with personal development books and applying them to my life, and then getting certified as a life coach to further help my clients in a expanded model where not only do I know my own perception of things and how to help people and focusing on the approach of the transform, elevate, thrive, but so many other practices as well, because not one method and approach is going to work for each individual. So it really helped me expand my mind. Now, my philosophy is I believe that transformation starts from within. And it roots in the idea that no matter how broken, stuck, or lost we may feel, every person holds the power to rewrite their story. And I know this because I've lived it. And you can rewrite your story at any point in your life. I always go back to no matter the age, you can always transform yourself. And you can see how awesome Solomon over here pulled up this awesome image. And it says, I help people transform their mindset, elevate their life, and thrive in their purpose by guiding them to break through limiting beliefs, build confidence, and align their daily habits with their higher vision. And that is my philosophy as a life coach. Now, I want to share with you my ideal client so that if you're sitting at home and you've ever thought, I know I'm capable of more, but I don't know where to start, or I want to feel more confident, I want to feel more aligned with the life that I want to live, I want to feel happy, more fulfilled, or I really want change, then I created this space in my coaching for you. So I work with people who are ready to do the inner work, embrace that growth, and create real change from the inside out. So transforming your mindset, building that confidence, and prioritizing your self love, taking that aligned action every day to get you from point A to point B. So, what is it like to work with me? First of all, I always like to have a clarity and growth call, is what I like to call it. It is think of it a free consultation call. And there I get to know more about you. It's all about you. But I know that at this point you're coming to me because you heard a little something about me, something that inspired you to be like, let me go with Coach Val. And I will share with you a little bit about me, but it's going to be very brief because the purpose of that call, it's a 30-minute call, longer if needed. Like I said, it's based off of everyone's needs, and it's pretty much getting to know you, your challenges, what goals do you want to achieve, and how I can guide you from that point A goal that you have to the B result and achieving what it is that you want. And it can focus on many things. Being a life coach, my expertise can be vast because I've transformed myself financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, relationally, dealing with navigating careers, rewriting myself. But my area of expertise is in shifting the mindset and really just empowering you to feel confident and to learn how to have that organization and discipline to get those tasks done to help you get to that end result. If all works well with the clarity and growth call, and you say, yes, I want you to be my coach, or no, you're not the coach for me, no hard feelings. At the end of the day, I want you to feel comfortable and confident and know that I'm going to be able to help you with your goals. And if I've come across someone that I feel like I'm not the best fit, I do have the resources to go ahead and refer you to someone else. So don't think that I'm just going to let you hang loose. I'll figure out something that'll work for you and refer you to the right person, whether it's a therapist, a counselor, a financial manager, something beyond my scope of expertise. I got you. So next up would be the structure of the programming. So I offer one-on-one sessions. Everything is online via Zoom. But as I mentioned in episode 1, I do have clients that they just prefer to stick to the phone call method. But eventually I get them out of that phone call phase and into the video meets because that's where we really build that connection and we see each other face to face. You see my emotions, I see yours. And it does feel much more impactful than over the phone. But the phone is also a good way for us to connect and still get those goals. But I'm all about the video. So, video meeting, one on one, and that can be at your convenience. So, we can do something on a weekly basis, like 2 times a week, bi weekly. It's what is going to work for your budget and overall your needs and goals, and how much you're willing to put into action and show up for yourself. For a much more deeper connection and intense programming, it'll be a 4 week or 3 month coaching program because then I know that you're going all in and you're going to fully commit and show up for yourself and focus on it within a monthly period or 3 month period. And you're going to feel the impact in a much better and faster way. But just because it's a daily thing or a monthly thing, you're going to see the change and you're going to see the transformation, but there's going to be so much more growth for you to do. And what does that include? So, aside from now, we're going to talk about the 4 week and 3 months. So, a little bit about that. If that was something that you want to commit to, it's going to consist of that deeper connection of weekly or bi weekly check ins via phone or video meet. You'll have that extra support like messaging. You'll get voice messages from me saying, like, hey, good morning. Da, 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 da. So you'll get voice messages, text messages. You'll have different resources, worksheets, journaling prompt, and a lot of accountability and empowerment where I'm checking in on you, making sure you're doing what it is that you have to do, taking that aligned action and working towards achieving your goals. And what makes my approach different is creating that safe space and that empowerment where you can reconnect with who you truly are. Heal the inner wounds that keep you stuck, rewriting your limiting beliefs, and taking bold, aligned action towards your best self. I truly believe in radical self love. And if you didn't know, pause, I need a little water break. Okay, I'm good. I'm back. So, the word radical is rooted from the Latin word root, which means radical, root. So you're rooted in your self-love. And I truly believe that everything stems from your self-love because when you love yourself and you're taking care of your mind, body, energy, and everything, you move different in the world. And you're moving very intentional and purposeful with the choices you get involved in, the people you're with, and just everything about your life. Honest reflection. Honest reflection is really going to help you be aware of your life, your situation, the things that you're going through, and how to have that inner resilience, how to overcome them. And I really believe on celebrating at every level. You left that toxic relationship, I'll be like, yes, you go. If you are not one to get a lot of movement, but you decided to just take one step out to your front door, I'm going to celebrate that because it's those little steps that they truly matter. And you can't expect to go from 0 to 100 real quick. It's a buildup in the process. And I'm here to hold your hand the whole way through and celebrate those that growth at every single level. And when we do the inner work, like I mentioned before, everything else truly follows. Your relationship is in a better place. Your confidence in the way you feel about yourself, the peace that you have in your life, and the purposeful and intentional actions and behaviors that you're choosing to have also get better. So it's those real results of confidence with breakthrough. You have clarity and just much more direction in your life. And now I want to highlight, and Solomon's going to pull it up shortly, different client reviews that I've had. And they're ranging from when I was transitioning from a fitness coach, practicing 50-50 fitness, 50-50 life coaching, to completely being a life coach. So you'll see some of those reviews, a review of me being a speaker. So here is an amazing review by a previous client, Miguel. He said, by far an amazing trainer. Coach Val is very good at her craft and always brings the best out of her clients. Her work ethic is so efficient, and the way how she teaches how to be very sharp with techniques and form. Her trainings go to show that you don't need to be in the gym for hours to get the results. Building your way up comfortably is the way it goes. And Miguel's doing very great, even though we've come to an end with our coaching. At one point, I was coaching him and his girlfriend, Michaela, and they're both very awesome. So when I was coaching them at the gym, we were focusing on life coaching stuff, financing stuff, relationship, like them getting stronger in their relationship aside from building up their physical well-being. And they're both doing very great. I still follow up with them, and it's nice to see their progress. Another one we have here is focused on my speaking skills. So this is from the awesome Misty Coda Maple. I absolutely love her. She invited me to be a speaker at her eBell Club meeting for the La Mirada division. And here she says, Coach Val is an excellent speaker and inspirational motivator to have at your event and or personal coach. She was able to deliver a fantastic presentation to a women's organization. She was thoughtful, prepared, and knowledgeable about her subject. The women felt very comfortable around her, and she encouraged everyone to have open dialogue. And women felt that she was very real and relatable. Thank you very much, Coach Val, for visiting us at La Mirada eBell Club. That was one of my favorite speaking events. It was just so beautiful and impactful, and I always appreciate the opportunities of getting invited to places because that leads me to my speaking services. But you know what? Before we go there, we're going to pull up one more review, and then I'm going to go ahead and elaborate on that stuff. I saw Solomon. He's like, girl, let's pull up one more. So this one here is from Norma. She's also very awesome. I've known her since childhood. She is one to vouch for me and say, I've seen this girl grow up and transform her life. So if you don't believe me, reach out to her. I'm going to tag her later on in this stuff. But she said, Valaery has been a great coach and mentor for me. I couldn't be happier with my results and with her. She's just simply amazing. Thank you, Coach Val, for being such a huge inspiration for not only myself, but for many other women. Grateful to have someone like Val in my life and that our paths crossed once again after so many years. See, I told y'all. But I've had my moments where I read these things and I just tear up because just seeing that positive impact, it's so fulfilling and it just like fills my cup up. And that's my goal in life. Like I'm always focusing on being a better person myself. And we're all learners of life until the day we die. I say you're always going to learn and live and transform and reinvent yourself. And me helping all of these awesome individuals that are so strong and courageous to say enough is enough, or I want to become better, and they seek the help. It's just such a beautiful thing, like knowing that I sparked a little something in them to help them start their transformational pivotal moment in their life to become better. Now, moving on to what it's like to have me as your speaker and serving on stages. So, I am in the beginning of my speaker era. I started back last year in 2024. I was invited to a youth entrepreneur camp because I attended a entrepreneur class, and I just clicked and networked with these people that they invited me to go to this space. And it was at the Irvine Valley College. And it was just really nice to serve the youth and give them real life tips on how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. And Solomon knows this too, like just building your business and figuring out the right approach and being at heart with it too and being passionate about it. So that's where my speaker era began. And then that's when I started getting told, like, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. So my ultimate goal is like focusing on my life coaching business, which I am, becoming a seasoned and experienced speaker, and eventually one day writing my own book and growing within this podcast. So those are my four focuses within my business and how I want to grow as an individual. And this year was the year that these speaking engagements have just been coming left and right, and I've been thriving more in it, building that confidence. And the reason why I love these speaking engagements is because I get to impact on a larger scale. I love working with my one-on-one clients. Don't feel like I don't love y'all, but it's really nice to be in a group setting and within a 15, 20, 30-minute hour presentation or workshop or discussion, you just see the faces in the room light up. You see those questions come up, or they ask certain things about my life and they're like, yes, I felt that. Or, oh my goodness, like I didn't know someone else had gone through this. And just having real time life coaching on the spot. And it's just a really beautiful thing. So I absolutely love doing these speaking engagements because I get to mainly impact on a larger scale, meet new people through a lot of these events. That's how I've gotten a lot of my one-on-one clients, that something just hit home for them, and maybe they didn't know much about life coaching, or they just were a little scared to do so. But then when they see me like in that real time, in that place, talking about a certain subject, at the end of it, we'll start to mingle and talk, and I get to learn more about people. They learn more about me, and ultimately, it's just a beautiful thing. And at these speaking engagements, I focus mainly on anything that's related to personal development. So, like self love, empowerment, mindset, wellness, how to things when you're starting your personal development journey and ultimately finding that life that you want to live. So, I encourage you, if you know anyone seeking a speaker or you'd like to book me to be a speaker at your event, please feel free to look at all of the links down below to book me, hop on a clarification call as well to learn more about me, how I can serve your event. Because if you're looking for someone that brings heart, healing, and hype, I'm your girl. And I want to wrap up with a empowering message to you all. Very short, very short. You see, these empowerment things don't need to be super long. I love long motivational quotes, but for this specifically is, if I can do it, so can you. And I'm sure there's people that have lived a much harder life than myself, and they've come out on the top. And if you don't believe me, go online and look up stories of all these different people that are now successful and where they were once at and where they are now at. And a lot of the things is telling yourself patience and just working towards it consistently every single day. And if anything that I said resonated with you and you're ready for your next level to either work with me via one-on-one coaching or book me for your next event, whether it's a workshop, a panel discussion, or just empowerment event overall, then please look at the links down below to get further information. You can reach out to me via email and follow me on my social media platforms. And to end, your next level isn't a dream, it's a decision. And if you're ready, I'm here to help you make that leap. So thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.